We live in this world that is just obsessed with likes, shares, and public applause, right? But there's this really fascinating group of people who seem to be playing a totally different game. They achieve amazing things, they create, they succeed, and then they just move on. So today we're going to dive into the psychology behind this quiet power.
Just picture that person who absolutely crushes their goals, but never posts a single thing about it. The one who does incredible work, but feels zero need to perform for an audience. What in the world is driving them? Well, it might not be what you think.
Seriously, think about it for a second. Maybe you have a friend who ran a marathon and didn't blast their finish time everywhere. Or a coworker who just nailed a huge project and didn't even mention it. Our first instinct might be to think, oh, they must not be confident. But what if I told you it's actually the complete opposite? Yeah, let's be super clear here. This isn't insecurity. It's a sign of something way deeper, way more stable. This is what we're calling quiet power, and it's a strength that comes from a really advanced kind of mindset. Okay, so to really understand this quiet power, we have to look at the source code of their confidence. It's not built on what other people think. It's coded from the inside. It really all comes down to where you believe your control comes from. And here is the key concept. It's called an internal locus of control. It's a bit of a technical term, but it just means you have this core belief that you are the pilot of your own life. Your successes, your failures, and yeah, your sense of worth, it's all determined by your choices and actions, not by what other people are saying or liking.
Look at this. It lays out two completely different ways of operating in the world. On one side, your worth is tied to what you do and the standards you set for yourself. Your satisfaction is personal. But on the other side, your worth is defined by likes, your confidence needs praise, and satisfaction demands an audience. It's a massive shift in where you find your value.
So, why do some people develop this incredibly powerful internal compass? Well, psychology points to two main drivers that really work together to build this kind of unshakable confidence. Let's break them down. Okay, the first driver is intrinsic motivation. This is all about the joy of the process itself. For someone with this drive, the satisfaction comes from making progress, from solving the puzzle, from just putting in the work. It's not about the pat on the back they might get later. For them, the reward is the work. Now, the second pillar that holds this whole thing up is something called self-concept clarity. And this is really just about knowing with real certainty who you are. Think about it. When you have a really clear and stable sense of who you are, you just don't need other people to constantly prove your value. You've already answered that big "who am I" question for yourself. So you don't need a screen or a crowd to give you the answer. All right, so we know what it is and why it happens. But what's the actual payoff? What's the ultimate reward for developing this internal validation? The answer is simple and it's powerful. It's freedom. I mean, just look at these benefits. First, your confidence becomes rock solid. It doesn't go up and down based on who's watching or who approves. Second, your self-worth becomes non-negotiable. It's a core part of you, not something people can give you or take away. And finally, there's peace. And that peace comes from understanding a funny little psychological quirk we all have. It's called the spotlight effect. We all tend to think that everyone is paying super close attention to us, right? But the reality is, most people are just busy worrying about their own spotlight. Realizing this, that you aren't constantly being watched and judged, is just incredibly liberating. So, let's bring this all home. What's the final takeaway here? It all comes down to one core idea. It's about making a conscious choice. The goal, the real game changer, is to consciously choose meaning over metrics. It's about shifting your focus away from the numbers, the likes, the followers, the praise, and onto what is truly meaningful to you. And when you do that, you just naturally outgrow the need for external validation because you're fueled by something so much more powerful. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In a culture that's constantly screaming for proof of our achievements, maybe the most powerful move is to achieve something just for yourself. So what's one piece of progress, one small win that you can celebrate entirely on your own, just for you?